We're clearly on a path heading toward recession. We're on a definite collision course. I think it's been 20 years since we've had such a large inversion in the yield curve. So the question becomes, are we headed for another housing crisis like the last major recession we had? And I don't know whether it's going to be major or not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying every indication is a recession is on the horizon. The only lone standout is the president, who's basically saying we've got a great economy. Well, I just gave you the JOLTS report, not good. I gave you the anticipation for the jobs report, not good. I gave you a lot of other statistics that are heading in the wrong direction. But, the president hasn't seen these reports yet. So maybe someone ought to tell him to listen to Ron Siegel Radio. So the question that we're going to look at this morning, or that I want to chat with you about, is being on this collision course to a recession. We're going to do a real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. A recession does not equal a housing crisis. Everywhere you look, people are talking about a potential recession. And if you're planning to buy or sell a house, this may leave you wondering if your plans are still a wise move. To help ease your mind, experts are saying that if we do officially enter a recession, it'll be a mild and short, as the Federal Reserve explained in their March meeting. Quote, the staff's projection at the time of the March meeting included a mild recession starting later this year with a recovery over the subsequent 2 years, unquote. While a recession may be on the horizon, it won't be one for the housing market. It won't be one for the housing market record books like the crash in 2008. We have to remember that a recession does not always equal a crash. That's the bottom line there. Doesn't always equal that. So what are we dealing with? What are we worried about? Let's see if I can find the rest of my report here because I just lost connection to it. So give me 1 second. I will find that puppy. So I've got some charts and everything else to give you also. So okay, there it is. Always got to have a backup plan. So as I started to say, while a recession may be on the horizon, it won't be one for the housing market record books like the crash in 2008. What we have to remember is that a recession doesn't always lead to a housing crisis. To prove it, let's look at the historical data of what happened in the real estate during the previous recessions. That way you know why you shouldn't be afraid of what a recession could mean for the housing market today. A recession does not mean falling home prices. To show that home prices don't fall every time there's a recession, it helps to turn to historical data. We're going to share with you, as long as it didn't crash on Josh too. He's got it. A graph. So we've got a graph here looking at recessions going back all the way to 1980. Home prices appreciated for the last 6 recessions. So historically, when the economy slows down, it does not mean home values will fall. In fact, one of them, the only one that I think really is appropriate to look at where it was down, was 1991. Home prices only dropped 1.9%. You say, Ron, but 2008, they dropped 19.7%. Well, I'm going to submit to you that home prices did not drop because of the recession. We had a recession. We had a home crisis, a mortgage crisis. That's what caused the recession. So really the other way around. So we really can't say that we had the problem because of the problem wasn't because of the recession. The problem was because of the home prices. So most people remember the housing crisis of 2008, the larger the 2 bars on the graph, and think another recession will repeat of what happened to housing then. But today's housing market is not about to crash because of the fundamentals of the market are different than they were in 2008. Back then, one of the big reasons why prices fell was because there was a surplus of homes for sale. At the same time, distressed properties flooded the market. Today, the number of homes for sale is low. So while home prices may see slight declines in some areas and slight gains in others, a crash simply is not in the cards. A recession means falling mortgage rates. Well, what a recession really means for the housing market is falling mortgage rates. We've got this graph for you also. Historically, each time the economy slowed down, mortgage rates decrease. Wow. Bankrate explains mortgage rates typically fall during an economic slowdown. Quote, during a traditional recession, the Fed will usually lower interest rates. This creates an incentive for people to spend money and stimulate the economy. It also typically leads to more affordable mortgage rates, which leads to more opportunity for home buyers, unquote. This year, mortgage rates have been quite volatile as they responded to higher inflation. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate has hovered between roughly 6 to 7%, and that's impacted affordability for many potential home buyers. But if there is a recession, history tells us mortgage rates may fall below that threshold, even though the days of 3% are behind us. Bottom line, you don't need to fear what a recession means for the housing market. If we do have a recession, experts say it will be mild and short. And history shows that it also means mortgage rates will drop. That is Real-Time Real Estate, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com.